Jalen Milroe, the 92nd overall pick in the 2025 draft to the Seattle Seahawks. It was a surprise for many. The Seahawks, though, and I read through all the transcripts, Chris, of the press conferences that they put out after Milroe. I read through Milroe's. I think the Seahawks feel like they might have gotten something with Jalen Milroe. They're very excited about him, his background, his upbringing, the entire package, what he brings to the table. Oh, and 4.37 speed in the 40.
That's right. I mean, he's an awesome kid. That's first and foremost. We know that. He's a kid that you don't got to be around very long to realize, wow, he's got a positive look on life. He's charismatic as hell, and you can tell he loves the sport, and he's going to do whatever he's got to do. Whether we talk to him in person at the Super Bowl or all the interviews I ever saw him do after an Alabama game or all of that. He's somebody you want to root for. Then, as I told you, I mean, I'm the first 5-6 weeks on NBC Big Ten college football, I was on there almost weekly going, Jalen Milroe's looking like he's going to be the first pick of the draft. Jalen Milroe's the best player in college football. Jalen Milroe is carrying the football team. To your point about Seattle being excited, I understand that. There's stuff to be excited. If you took like, wow, oh my gosh, laser plays, wow, oh my gosh, unbelievable highlight moment, scrambles, runs. I mean, other than Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe is going to be second in that department as far as watching film and breaking him down. The problem is he's also going to have a bunch of plays on there. We're going to go, wow, out of the top 6 or 7 quarterbacks, he's got some of the worst throws and worst plays in there too. And that's where they got to fill in the gap here, and he's got to continue to be patient, and they're going to grow him as a quarterback. And it's a perfect spot for him here. Perfect spot. They'll have a plan for him. I bet you they get him on the field in some capacity, Taysom Hill style. So that'll be great, while all also doing on the side, making him a better quarterback. And they don't need him right now. They got Drew Lock. Drew Lock can be the backup for right now as Jalen Milroe comes along. Perfect spot for him, and a team that's invested in him and wants to make him better. That's when it could work, and hopefully it does for Jalen Milroe.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Taysom Hill because Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, was in New Orleans last year with Hill, and Hill's name came up during the press conference where Mike Macdonald talked about the selection of Milroe, and McDonald made it clear this is not a Taysom Hill situation. This guy is quarterback and quarterback only. Here's some of McDonald from Friday after they took Jalen Milroe.
Jalen's a quarterback through and through. He's going to be trained to play quarterback for us, and when he's in there, he's going to be playing quarterback. Quarterbacks that extend the play are incredibly difficult to defend. I mean, the worst feeling in the world is you play the first play of the play perfectly on defense, and you defend it, and you're like, all right, sweet. We did it, and then the guy still has the ball, and then you got to defend the next play, sometimes a third play, and he can kill you in the first play, he can kill you in the second play, he can kill you in the third play, and it's not a fun existence, to live consistently, So he has that ability.
It's a point I make whenever it comes up, and I think we've talked about it here, about the 49ers paying Brock Purdy $50 million a year. Purdy's not a second play, third play guy. Purdy is call the play, run the play, and if it's not there, that's that. Kirk Cousins is that guy too. The best quarterbacks are what Mike Macdonald's talking about, guys who can extend the play and make something out of nothing. You've still got to be able to run the play, the first one or the second one or the third one.
Right.
And it can't just be, Chris, it can't be Mike Vick using that speed as a crutch. You've got to develop the rest of your game. You've got to get to a point like Lamar Jackson has.
100.
Where we're going to pass now. I know I could run for 25, but I'm going to try to pass for 17 instead.
Yeah.
Because it's going to develop him more as a quarterback, and it's going to behoove him over the course of his full career, because at some point he's not going to be running a 4.37, but he's still going to have the arm.
That's right. And then it makes you a more dangerous quarterback. It makes your team more dangerous. That's what's amazing about Lamar. That's why Mike Macdonald's talking about it. He's going, wait, I got a lot of experience watching Lamar Jackson. I know how hard that is to defend. Thank God when I was in Baltimore, I didn't have to defend him. But I'd like to have one like that. But, yes, when you can become the complete quarterback along with that athletic ability, and that's what's special about Lamar Jackson, is he could go 20 passes in a row and just go, wow, he's just surgically destroying us from the pocket. But then that one play where you cover everybody else up and nobody's there, now it's like, oh, I'll get you out of this mess, coach. Don't worry. I'll make something happen. I'll scramble and make a throw, or I'll just scramble and run for 25 or 30 yards like you said, and hopefully that's where they can get with Jalen Milroe. He's got some big-time talent. He's just got to learn the quarterback stuff. I'm surprised to hear they won't want to use him a little bit in some other ways. I'm shocked. I missed that part during the weekend. I really am. But either way, they see a future for him at quarterback, which I do too. It's going to take some work, getting him to read the field more, not rely on those legs like you're talking about. And he's got a few mechanical flaws that he goes back to every now and then that he's just got to stay on top of. Because when he's perfect, he can make you say, wow, he really can. But when he's not perfect, he can make you say, ugh, sometimes too. And that's where we got to get that out of his game.
But you could still have a Jalen Milroe package with him playing quarterback.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. You're right.
So there'll be ways to use him, but he is a quarterback, and they're going to develop him as a quarterback. And this is where the human element comes into play. John Schneider, the GM of the team, was raving about the human being. And they had him, he said, damn close to the top of their quarterback board. Unique, special kid, special athlete, special kid, special young man, athlete. I mean, he just goes on and on. So they got something here.
I get it.
And Milroe was asked for the message to the teams that passed on him. 3 words: belt to ass. That's it.
That's funny.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
well, he's
got a chip on his shoulder.
He's what? He grew up was his dad a Marine? Is that what I remember? His dad was in the armed forces, right? So I'm sure he's felt belt to ass before. And he probably
Dad's
knows
a
what
Marine.
Right.
Dad's a Marine, and Mom was in the Navy.
Yeah, so he's had belt to ass before. He knows what that's all about, for sure. And I'm excited for him. And again, to echo one, I could see him being up there on some people's boards because we just talked about Cam Ward. None of these other guys were elite. That's why a lot of them fell, and that's where so this guy has some elite traits to bring to the table. And the person matters. Again, that's a big thing. We're in an age, again, where there's so much talent and the sport is so popular and there's so many good players. That's where does he love football, character, and all of that is being valued a little bit more here now, more than ever, I think, because there's just an influx of talent. We don't need to take a chance on this guy. This guy's awesome. He wants to be here. He loves it. And I think you're seeing more teams kind of put stock into that stuff more than ever right now, Mike.
By the way, it is amazing to think there was a time not that long ago where belt to ass was a real way to punish and control and direct a child. And I never got belt to ass. I never had to get it. All I had to know about was the possibility of it. That was the nuclear option that I never, ever tempted. I don't even know if they would have been capable of doing it, but just knowing it was there was enough to keep me somewhat in line most of the time. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.
Great to see everybody. We had a great camp. Before questions, just want to give a couple shout outs. Our equipment staff, absolute rock stars. I mean, we had about 70-something guys out here, and they got the jerseys ready, helmets, all the equipment. Pretty massive undertaking on their part, and pulled it off seamlessly. So we had a good-looking crew out there, looking like Seahawks and pro football players, which was pretty cool. And then I'll say the personnel department, the coaches, all the work that goes into finding the right guys to bring out here for this camp. I mean, you go all the way down the line, draft picks, undrafted free agents, tryout guys. We had a heck of a crew out there, some high-powered stuff going on coaching-wise. Just really excited about the guys that are going to be joining our team and the alignment we have and all the work that goes into it, because it's a lot of work. And just down the line, I mean, you can go position group by position group, but we're really excited about the guys that were here. And just want to thank those guys for the work that they've done. And it's not easy to get on the same page about some of these things. We feel strongly about a lot of these players, and that's the secret sauce about being able to scrimmage things out and have alignment when it comes to who's going to join our football team. So just really appreciate all the work that went into it. So, but it was a great camp, and really excited about the draft picks, undrafted guys. We got a lot of work to do, but this is a really important first step in these guys understanding how we operate here, how we practice, the initial schemes that they're going to be learning. And, in that matter, I think was really successful. So excited to get them back next week.
You had a chance to watch Jalen at the Senior Bowl, and he's told us how he's been working with his mechanics stuff with his quarterback coach. These first 2 days here, how have you seen any progression in what he looks like in that regard compared to what you saw in Mobile?
Well, one thing that you don't have a feel for Jalen, watching tape or even watching him in practice is just like the spirit he has from play to play. He's got great energy, great competitive energy about trying to get it right. Great command of the huddle. Really takes pride in the operation. And then all these fundamental things that we're going to be building on from the ground up. He's just got a great attitude about it. The coaches are doing a great job coaching him every play, and it goes for all our guys, but him especially. So, if you have that attitude, especially at the quarterback position, everybody else tends to fall in line. And in that regard, it was really, really fun to be around.
What did you see up front from both seeing Coach Patton work with these guys for the first couple of times, and you got 3 draft picks up there, so seeing them kind of work and get them.
Yeah, it was a great group overall. Really excited about our draft picks. Hard to tell, give it a fair evaluation right now, but you can see the skill set, see the movement, see the things we've seen on tape, see the attitude. We'll work the finish and all the stuff when that becomes time, but a really good first step with those guys. But it's fun to see it come to life.
Michael, what do you like philosophically about having a true fullback and kind of having that part of your offense?
It's a great question. It's a good softball. I just think, we want to be a physical unit, and there's not a lot of true fullbacks in the league right now, and hopefully they're making a comeback. But we got a couple on our roster right now that I'm really excited about. And, it allows you to get into 2-back sets. And, you can break the formation. You can try to dictate some terms to the defense and regulate them certain ways. And some of the schemes that you're able to do with, 2 backs are definitely different than a 1-back operation. So I think it diversifies you to a certain extent, and also lets you play like a level of physicality that we're hunting up.
I heard you talk to the defense a couple of times. Well done. What did you see from them?
Yeah, I think right now we're looking for the intent, the communication coming out of the huddle, putting it all together, all 3 levels. I mean, these guys are coming from all different areas, different experience levels, hearing a different language. So to be able to put it together here in day 2 and play with great technique and great eyes and communication. And we're not exactly splitting atoms with the schematics that we're asking them to do right now, but showed progress and was just exciting to see it come together there towards the end.
How do you evaluate a position like nose tackle of 2 days of non-padded practices?
Yeah, there's some in the 11-on-11 stuff, but it's tough with the tempos that we're asking the guys to operate at. But a lot of it's going to come from the individual work, seeing them move, how they do the drills, taking it to the field, how they, hand placement, how they're getting out of their stance, how they're playing the blocks. Physicality, it's a little tough right now, but that's the stuff that we're looking at.
For you personally, what's different this year compared to last year?
Well, we tossed around having some different ideas about how to operate camp, or there's different ways to go about rookie camp. You can slow it down, you can make it more of an individual thing if you're trying to avoid injuries. All sorts of different ways to go about it. We had a lot of faith in the coaches and what we were trying, how we're trying to operate. And at the end of the day, we felt like, trying to get better at football by doing football was the way to go. So I thought our rookie camp last year we did a great job as well. I thought we got what we needed out of it, and so we built off of that.
Can you clarify? Slowed down for you, though, from last year? I would imagine everything was kind of moving miles an hour.
Yeah, you could fill in the blank. Everything slows down. Again, when you're used to looking at things through a certain lens, and all of a sudden now you're looking at it through a different lens, the picture speeds up a little bit. So now you're staying through that new lens, and I think also through our staff we have alignment and what we're looking for, and guys have expectations about what's important to us as a team and what we're trying to get accomplished. So and we're not perfect by any means. There's notes that we're taking, and we're going to go kind of debrief here and watch the tape and learn from it and move on. So we're on our A game when the vets show up on Monday. So it's just a constant reevaluation process and trying to get better.
Can you clarify, there was a conversation after the draft about Jalen and comparing him to Taysom Hill, and you said, he's just a quarterback. He's a quarterback and training quarterback. Does that mean, that would preclude you guys from using him in special packages for specific scenarios, red zone, short yardage?
Yeah, I'd love to clarify it. Look, I think what I was trying to say at the time was we respect the heck out of Taysom Hill. We've gone against him several times, and he's a gigantic pain in the butt and a great player in his own regard. But I think you have to go into these things. These are independent players with their own skill sets and own abilities, and we drafted Jalen to play exclusively quarterback. I think what makes Taysom such a great weapon is that the guy can – you have to account for him as a tight end and a fullback body when he's not playing quarterback, where we're not going to be using Jalen in that matter. So when he's in there, he's going to be playing quarterback for us. But I think the way that we want to operate with Jalen is if and when he earns opportunities to be on the field, we'll do the things that he does really well. Same as when Sam's taking snaps for us, we're building it around his skill set and the things that he does. And if you're not doing that as an organization and a football team, I think you're doing it the wrong way. So same thing with Drew. But it's going to start with the quarterback, and then kind of everything falls in place from there.
Elisha seems like a pretty athlete to see out on the field. What's it kind of like seeing him for the first couple days in front of you out here and kind of getting to see it in person? Yeah,
he did a great job. Great to have him in person. He's got a great attitude, great spirit about him. Practices hard. Does a great job of taking what we're. Seems like we're doing. Does a great job of taking what we're trying to teach him, fundamentally, and then taking that to his position. So, off to a great start.
Jalen said that you mentioned that you had interest in doing VR, virtual reality, training to work on progression and stuff. How do you see that helping a young quarterback, especially when the veterans get here? Maybe the reps are going to be more limited for him on the practice field.
Yeah, sure. We're kind of in the exploratory mode right now on that and how that's going to come to life. So we're in the beginning stages of that project, but that's the intent right now is to kind of go down that road and see how it can help all of our quarterbacks and even other positions too. I mean, running back protections, punt protection, maybe kind of there is no end in sight with the possibility. So that's exciting. But for Jalen and another quarterback specifically, you're only going to get so many full speed reps out there. How do you change tempos? How do you do things like that where you can be creative, where you can get these really great cheap reps, and you can stack those on top of each other. So when he does get his opportunities in practice, you can make the most of them. And seems like it's all positive all the way around.
Nick Heeman worried, just kind of initial impression of him these last couple days.
Yeah, I mean, you see the movement skills, you see all the things you saw on tape. Different language for him, but he's got great intent. I think he wants to be great, which is a fun characteristic to work with. And great start. But he'll be the first to tell you, like all of our guys have. You see it, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. But hey, now we gotta go. We gotta detail it up. We gotta get our angles right. Eyes. I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals that we'll be working on when he comes back, and it's gonna be fun to work with him.
When do you expect to see Torrey Horton taking some football reps, and kind of what's the ramp-up process for him?
Yeah, timetable right now, I mean, I wouldn't say it's anything major, but when he comes back, he should be close to, full go, but we'll see how that, kind of comes about. But I think we're just being precautious right now.
What kind of role do you expect for him? Is he X, flank, like where in the receiver room is he going to be?
Well, he's go earn it is the first part, and I'm excited about his punt return ability as well. Possible gunner, and then in the receiver room, I mean, the guy's got legitimate speed, so be able to take the top off if he's able to do that. But I think I think in this system you got to be able to run all the routes too. So I think he has that ability on some of the intermediate stuff, and it'll be interesting to see who kind of comes out of the pack on the catch and run, perimeter screen game, and he's right in the mix on that competition as well.
Why did you want to see Plumlee and Jamie Sheriff out here this weekend?
Well, because of the rules, we had an opportunity to get him out, and just felt like these were going to be great reps for them to take advantage of. Jamie, we're looking at moving his position to off the ball backer, and Sam for some more position flexibility. So it's something that he hasn't really had a lot of reps doing. So it felt like it was a great opportunity for him to, see those more live and in color before we got to OTAs. And Mason and Plumlee, excuse me, he. Just more reps at receiver, just kind of be part of it and felt like it was a great opportunity for him.
Sounds like you're bringing Hankins back. Does that kind of fill a pretty big void for you there?
Yeah, I mean, he's a heck of a player. We're excited to get him back. I wouldn't say it was just a major void because we have guys that can play in the A gap, but yeah, I mean, I think when you watch the tape last year, he played some pretty dang good football for us. So excited to get it back. Him and D-Law teaming up again.
Sorry, with the makeup of your offensive staff, how beneficial is it to have guys like under Clint, Rick Dennison and John Benton, guys that he really knows and really trusts to work with?
Yeah, it's really important, especially just in this system. I've been on teams before that have run a version of this system, specifically Clint's dad, with some of the same guys. Like Rico was on that staff, and the connection and the detail and just like the shared understanding about what's expected with the timing and the angles and all that type of stuff, it was able to get off the ground. And so you can feel it out there. You can feel it in the rooms. The guys have an understanding about what's expected on any given play and all the concepts. So I'm the one playing catch up right now, fortunately speaking.
You talked about special projects that you and the coaches are taking on this off season.
Yep.
Are those now come to fruition, and you go into these time with the players and talk through that stuff?
Yeah, I think part of it's self-scout about what you felt like you did well, giving the guys the feedback now when they're back in. But you don't want to take away from, hey, we're going to a new chapter. We got to rebuild it. Some of it's in the systems that we're building and how we incorporate rules, things of that nature, and then really just an understanding where the league's going and how you tailor how you build stuff and how you're teaching it. And then when the schedule comes out, we'll look at looking towards how we want to get ready for the season.
Any of the undrafted guys stand out to you?
A lot of the guys did. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's a great group overall. I mean, we can go down line item by line item, but I think we did a great job this year identifying skill sets that we wanted, and without going person by person. But we're really excited about those guys.
What do you like about? I gave you one, Jackson. What do you like about him?
I'm just going to leave that under wraps right now as we go through the offseason.
The Seattle Seahawks entered the 2025 NFL Draft Weekend with a mission: to reshape their roster with bold, high-upside talent. And they didn't disappoint. What was expected to be a relatively quiet few days turned into a flurry of headline-making moves that have ignited excitement throughout the fan base and even among the players themselves. Adding a particularly special touch to the weekend's events, two University of Nevada, Las Vegas alumni are now set to reunite in the Pacific Northwest. Wide receiver Ricky White III was selected by the Seahawks with the 238th overall pick in the 7th round, while linebacker Jackson Woodard signed with Seattle as an undrafted free agent shortly after the draft concluded. For UNLV, it's a proud moment. White becomes the first Rebel wide receiver drafted since Henry Bailey in 1995, ending a nearly 30-year drought for the program. White leaves UNLV second all-time in receptions, 218 and 100-yard receiving games, a testament to his reliability and explosive playmaking ability during his college career. Seattle's aggressive approach throughout the draft sent a clear signal. The franchise is not content to tread water in a competitive NFC West. The fireworks began on Thursday night when Seattle stayed put at the 18th overall pick and selected North Dakota State guard Gray Zabel, widely regarded as one of the top interior linemen in the class. The choice directly addressed one of the Seahawks' most glaring needs: protecting the quarterback and solidifying the trenches. However, the real buzz started Friday evening. The Seahawks made an unexpected move, trading up early in the second round to grab South Carolina safety Nick Emenwari, an athletic marvel known for his physical style and nose for the ball. The reaction was immediate and electric. Seattle cornerback Devin Witherspoon, clearly thrilled, took to social media, posting an angry huff emoji followed by 2 tornado emojis, capturing the raw energy Emenwari is expected to bring to the secondary. Seattle wasn't finished shocking the football world. With the 92nd overall pick, acquired from the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for veteran quarterback Geno Smith, the Seahawks pulled off perhaps their most daring move, drafting Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. Known for his dazzling mobility and cannon arm, Milroe adds a thrilling dimension to the Seahawks' future plans under center. The pick set social media ablaze, with Seahawks safety Julian Love immediately posting a double eyeball emoji, declaring that General Manager John Schneider was cooking with the draft class. Love didn't stop there. After Seattle selected defensive tackle Riley Mills from Notre Dame, a player close to his heart as a fellow Fighting Irish alum, he shared 3 shamrock emojis, further underlining his approval. Clearly, the Seahawks locker room is energized by the front office's strategic and assertive moves. Even Byron Murphy II, Seattle's standout defensive tackle, couldn't hide his enthusiasm. He posted a picture of Emanwari on his Instagram story with the caption, "LFG, let's go," expressing what many Seahawks fans were already feeling. The defense, already one of Seattle's strengths, now looks poised to add even more physicality and versatility, thanks to Emanwari's arrival. The excitement wasn't limited to the defensive side. Star wide receiver Cooper Kupp, newly arrived in Seattle after an offseason trade from the Los Angeles Rams, took it upon himself to welcome the rookies. Kupp, a veteran presence on a young offense, posted, "Welcome to the flock, Rooks. Let's get to work." On X, setting the tone for the offseason. At 31 years old, Kupp's leadership will be crucial for a receiving core that now includes promising talents like Jackson Smith-Njigba, Torrey Horton, drafted out of Colorado State, and Ricky White III. Kupp's early embrace of his leadership role shows the culture shift brewing in Seattle, one centered on mentorship, hard work, and shared ambition. The draft weekend proved that the Seahawks are no longer a passive organization quietly rebuilding in the background. Instead, they're pushing chips into the middle of the table, aggressively targeting players they believe can return the franchise to championship contention. With young, hungry talent joining battle-tested veterans, the Seahawks look poised to turn a new page in their storied history. As rookie minicamps approach and training camp looms on the horizon, the energy in Seattle is palpable. Fans are dreaming again. Players are motivated. Coaches are scheming, and a pair of proud UNLV alumni, along with a host of exciting new faces, are ready to help lead the next chapter of Seahawks football. The message from the Seahawks this weekend, both on and off the field, was clear. This team is not here to rebuild. They're here to compete, and maybe, just maybe, to soar once again. In the NFL, building for the future isn't just about stockpiling talent. It's about knowing which pieces to bet on. And in Seattle, where the rain falls steadily and expectations even more so, the Seahawks are making moves that signal they're serious about structure, culture, and long-term vision. Whether it's doubling down on a franchise left tackle or quietly landing high-upside pass rushers in undrafted free agency, the message from Lumen Field is loud and clear. The foundation is everything. You don't build a fortress with paper walls. You build it with anchors, Hall of Famer Walter Jones once said about offensive line play. In Sam Darnold's Seattle, that anchor just got heavier. Back in 2022, when Charles Cross was drafted 9th overall, the pick raised more eyebrows than cheers. Critics questioned his air raid background at Mississippi State, wondering if he could handle the physical demands of the pro game. But after nearly 3,000 snaps across 3 seasons, Cross hasn't just proven his worth. He's made Seahawks history. Last week, Cross became the first homegrown Seattle draft pick to ever have his 5th-year option picked up. It's a milestone that speaks volumes. Since 2011, the franchise has dodged that kind of commitment, even with talented players like Bruce Irvin and Rashad Penny. But Cross broke the trend. The $17.56 million option for 2026 isn't just a payday. It's a vote of confidence, a declaration that Seattle is done with stopgap solutions. They're ready to build something lasting. Cross's resume justifies the investment. He started 48 of 51 games, played 99.7% of snaps in 2024, and ranked 16th in pass block win rate, according to ESPN's Brady Henderson. He's not just holding the line, he is the line. Add in a solid PFF pass blocking grade of 81.3 and a film reel that includes a dominant performance against Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, and it's clear he's developed into a franchise cornerstone. Now represented by Clutch Sports, Nicole Lynn and Kelton Crenshaw, Cross is positioned for an even larger extension down the road. Smartly, he hired an agent after going solo early in his career, a strategic play in today's business-first NFL. And while Cross shores up the offensive front, the Seahawks quietly made another intriguing bet: 2 high-upside undrafted edge rushers. Jared Ivey out of Ole Miss and Connor O'Toole from Utah may not have heard their names called during the draft, but they could be the kind of low-risk, high-reward additions that matter in January. Seattle's front office has a strong track record with UDFAs. Doug Baldwin, anyone? And Ivey and O'Toole come with traits that scream roster sleeper. Ivey is a 6'6", 275-pound pass rusher with long arms, a relentless motor, and a 2024 stat line that includes 7 sacks and 11 tackles for loss. O'Toole, a former wide receiver turned defensive end, added 40 pounds to his frame and morphed into a quarterback's worst nightmare. At 6'4", he brings bend, burst, and a chip on his shoulder the size of Rainier. These aren't camp bodies, they're calculated plays. With veteran DeMarcus Lawrence aging and Uchenna Nwosu's injury history looming, Seattle could use fresh legs and hungry minds. And in Mike McDonald's hybrid pressure schemes, versatility and motor matter more than name recognition. The Seahawks' approach this offseason reflects a deeper philosophy. They aren't chasing headlines or falling for flashy moves. They're identifying long-term value and investing in football character. Cross's extension-worthy performance shows they'll reward development. Ivey and O'Toole represent their belief in upside, projection, and coaching. As one coach might say, you either evolve or evaporate. And this Seattle team, they're evolving fast. They're betting on structure up front and chaos off the edge. They're setting up a young quarterback with real protection and arming their defense with raw potential that could pop at just the right time. So here's to Charles Cross, the $17.5 million man who went from questioned prospect to confirmed anchor. And here's to Jared Ivey and Connor O'Toole, who may just be the next chapter in Seattle's proud tradition of finding stars in the shadows. In a league where the window to win can slam shut in a season, the Seahawks are holding theirs open with grit, foresight, and just the right touch of gamble. The future in Seattle isn't just bright. It's braced, blitzing, and built to last.